everyone. I'm Father Ron at Sacred Heart Church. Thank you for joining us today. I'm here with Tonita Lopez, who is a mental health professional, and we chatted last week about our own self-care and self-care about our family lives. And what I'd like to have a conversation today about kind of the media, how to kind of negotiate some of those things during this very tumultuous time of COVID-19 and all of the other issues. So Tonita, thank you for joining us again.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure that not only in your family and in your own counseling business,
Mm-hmm.
that you see a lot of issues around the news today and around kind of our addiction to
Yes.
television news and internet, and trying to keep up with all of this stuff that's going on. Do you have any advice for us around those issues? Yeah.
I think most of us want to be informed, right? We want to stay informed and know what's happening, but it is such a constant stream of information that it becomes overwhelming. And certainly lately what we've been seeing changes so quickly, right? So what I might have watched in the morning might be refuted by something I watched by noontime. So I think it's been really helpful for myself personally and absolutely for my clients to try to put boundaries around that, right?
Right.
To maybe pick one or two times during the day when you might watch
Mm-hmm.
some selected news, right? So you don't have to watch every channel to see every
Right.
perspective.
Right.
And to also be mindful of when you're putting that in your head, when you're ingesting it, right?
Right.
So for some people, it's not going to work to watch the news right before they go to bed because it interrupts their thought process. It interrupts
Mhm.
them being able to sleep, right? So being really thoughtful about how it impacts you, right? So for me, for instance, I don't watch the news before I go into a full day of counseling, right? Because I don't want to be pulled in that direction and thinking about that. So I'll watch my news in the evening, but not before I go to bed.
Right. Yeah, those are really good things. And I think especially with families and children, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and especially today when every news segment, no matter what kind of news it is, seems to have at the core of it a division. You're either going to be for it or you're going to be against it, no matter what the issues are.
Mhm.
And of course, as we know, the issues today are overwhelming. And especially at this time when we don't have the normal mechanisms, of being together at church, of worshiping in a large community, of having that support, and just the basic support of families and all of those things. Have you seen, in your practice, how do you think all of these things are affecting children at this time?
I think children are ingesting it just like we are, but they might not have all the information or have all the ability to put it all together, right?
Right,
So
right.
I do think it is important to even limit their intake, but also to have discussions about it
Mhm.
as a family and maybe a time and a place for them to ask questions or to get clarification about what they might have heard.
Yeah, and on every single topic,
Yeah,
right?
and there's a lot of them.
And there's a lot of topics, yeah. And I think that's really, really key right now, is to be able to have a family conversation around all of these things and to really try to bring our faith into all those conversations. Around what does it mean to take care of ourselves in the COVID days. I mean, that's a matter of faith as well,
Yeah.
and learning how to respect people. And and also with the issues of racism and violence today, I mean, we need to break all of those things down and bring it ultimately back to a conversation of faith, right?
To have a conversation of faith, but to make sure we're intentional about those conversations, right? Because kids,
Mhm.
I think we all are. We're all getting news from local, national broadcasts like we always did, but we're also getting it from social media, right?
Right.
Or my parents, when I was growing up, could have moderated my news consumption by how much time I spent in front of the TV.
Right.
We have to remember what they're receiving through their phones, right? That we might not even be aware of.
That's right.
Right, and
yeah.
so to be intentional about having those conversations, even if we think they haven't heard those things.
Right, and I think all of those things are particularly that young people are particularly influenced now. Junior high school kids who are trying to make their way in life, right? And they just can't quite figure it out. And some folks, some young people feel really hopeless and helpless at this time because they look at the world, right, and they think, why bother, right?
There are lots of problems, right,
Right.
that seem insurmountable, and I think even as adults we have to have that dialogue to figure out how we really feel about things.
Right.
So our children would as well.
Yeah. And how to come to some kind of wisdom about it, I think, right, is really, really important. And that can only be done by
Discussion.
family. Yes.
And taking
by
it back
family
to our
life.
faith family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Tonita, thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for your insights. And thank you for your work, helping other people come to a better understanding of their own lives. Thank you, everybody. Have a good week.